Obviously, we've done the game day phone-in. We talked about the Saturday games, but if you're an Everton fan, you can come on. Because if you didn't phone us up Saturday, there was a lot of angry fans. A lot. That collapse was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. Obviously, the Sunday fixtures are the big talking points. Man United got pumped by Liverpool. And what do you make of Ten Hag's comments after the game? Is he hiding behind these cup wins, Jace? Because I'm sorry, people keep getting dug out for saying they ain't no different. They ain't going to improve. Can't see Ten Hag lasting. And we're getting proven right. 3 games in. He's lost 2.
Yeah. He's a very interesting character in the pressers, isn't he?
Yeah. He's arrogant.
He comes out with some absolute waffle, doesn't he? He
does.
Waffles.
And that reporter, I know it's obviously been going quite viral today. He's obviously a Man United fan. Pretty bang on with what he said.
The problem is, when you're in as many of those press conferences after another performance that's inept, you get tired of being taken a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
Because Ten Hag is... I don't blame him, right? But you've got to expect that people aren't going to sit there and listen to waffle and expect you...
They do that every night when they put us on.
Well, that's different. They've got a choice. They can turn it off if they don't want to hear our waffle. But the truth is, Ten Hag waffles after a game. And the journos are sitting there and they're thinking, you're taking me for a mug, mate. I ain't going to have it no more.
Yeah.
You've got to answer some serious questions. Don't keep mentioning the cups. It's always a good thing to win a trophy. It's never a bad thing.
No.
When you're finishing 8th in the Premier League, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And that's where your bread and butter is.
Yeah.
I see Van Gaal got sacked for winning a cup.
Yeah.
That doesn't keep you in a job. At a top
Not
job,
Man United.
It doesn't keep you in a job. No. I think Kenny Dalglish might have got sacked after winning a cup or something. It's all about it's all about Champions League and Premier League.
Yeah.
You've got to be muscling in, at least competing for the title. And I'm not convinced it's only his fault, by the way.
No.
He's the one that's going to take the can. But don't give waffle. It's fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's absolutely right. We've been seeing it today. People coming out saying, you're hiding behind them 2 trophies. You're Man United. You spent £1 billion. Spent loads of money. You've brought in all your players from the Dutch league, and you're miles off the pace. You ain't good enough. It's simple as that. The performances are not good. And I don't think they're getting anywhere near the top 3 that we've talked about. And Manchester United have had such a fall from grace, and it's actually it's unbelievable how far they fell. If Barcelona finished 8th in the Liga, there's protests outside the ground.
Yeah,
it's unacceptable. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Liverpool. It's unacceptable to not be fighting for titles. It don't happen. Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and it's almost just accepted now that they're crap.
It kind of is. It's not surprising. What we saw last night, no one's surprised. It's just how easy it was again. How it's a chasm between Liverpool and Man United. Absolute chasm. And we saw it last season. And what we saw... So Slot's come in and it's not often you get a top job with a top squad and a balanced squad and a happy squad that comes up as a job. It's rare.
Yeah.
Normally, the managerial jobs that come up is because the team's been garbage.
Yeah.
There's a change of ownership where someone else wants to come in and really make a stand, and they're not happy with what. Totally different. Slot has come in, and it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he's basically come in. They look good, Liverpool.
Yeah.
But he's come into a totally different scenario to where Man United are right now. And you've got to Ten Hag. It's on his watch, by the way. So he's going to have to take some flack. It's on his watch. But Slot's come in. Do you know what? This Klopp fella weren't bad. 3rd position. They challenged for a little bit last season. I think Liverpool can challenge. I seriously think that they look the real deal. There'll be stiffer tests ahead. They've had a nice start. Ipswich in the first game.
Brentford.
They've had a nice start. Man United in absolute turmoil. There will be stiffer tests ahead. But right now, Slot's thinking, this Premier League game is an absolute... It's a piece of you-know-what.
Yeah, when you got Salah in your side.
Look, that's what I mean. They've got a lovely squad, top players. He's got them playing well, but it isn't broken at Liverpool. It's a nice position to come into. Ten Hag the other end, mate. No, that's a totally different.
No, I'm not having it. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. You can't keep hiding behind trophy wins. You're Man United manager. You're expected to win trophies every season. Let's go to Ali. He's a Man United fan, right, Ali?
Right, Ali.
Good evening, guys.
How are you?
How are you doing? Are you okay?
Ali, I can hear it in your voice, mate.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. I mean, third season. This is the 3rd season, and we're still talking about. It's like Sunday's result was just as bad as a 7-0. That's how bad it was. Then you hear his press conferences. It's shocking, and he goes on about these 2 trophies. Anyone can win a cup. We're not a cup team. We should be seeing progress in the league. That's where you see progress, not a cup match. And I just think it's about time we need to stop scapegoating players like Rashford and picking on players. It's all down to the manager. I think the number of players that has gone backwards under Ten Hag is shocking. He fell out with Ronaldo. He fell out with Sancho. There's other players going backwards. It's not just Rashford. I think Rashford is an easy scapegoat. I think he had a better game than other players on Sunday. I don't understand this scapegoating of Rashford. I think all the players are playing bad. All the players. So why is it just Rashford gets?
Well, Casemiro's took a lot of stick as well. I mean, he's took an awful amount of stick, but I think it's pretty obvious to see that he's coming to the end. But he's still got a lot to offer. But maybe not against Liverpool.
It's the setup. It's the setup. If one player, all the players make mistakes in any team. United, as soon as one player makes a mistake, boom, they go and score. It's the setup. It's all down to Ten Hag. I don't think we should be even criticizing the players anymore. He's been there 3 seasons. The setup, the way he talks in press, everything, his attitude. I don't think he can even manage the players. This is why he falls out with all these players.
Would you sack him? Would you sack him now?
I would, but the problem is, even that's what the owners had problem after the FA Cup win. I don't think there's a good enough manager out there to replace him. I'll wait for Christmas time or something, and then probably have Van Nistelrooy as interim and see how he does for the rest of the season.
I think that's nailed on. I think that's probably where they're going to go. I think one of the reasons they gave him the job is because there was no one else that they felt was suitable. They're just kicking the can down the road. 1-year extension on his contract, give him 2 years. All they're doing is just saying, well, this scenario we're faced right now, we'll be in the same position in 12 months.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. That's basically how I saw it. Van Nistelrooy is nailed on to
I just can't believe how far they've fallen away. Yeah. I thought they'd come back. They just no identity again this season.
No.
I don't know what Man United are.
No.
Like what football are they playing? How are they setting up? Playing against Liverpool. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to see.
No. Well, you like I said, that wasn't a surprise, was it?
No.
It wasn't. No one's gone, oh my God, that's where both clubs are right now. That's the truth.
It really is unbelievable. Let's go to Arch. He's a Spurs fan. All right, Arch?
All right, Arch.
Hi, guys. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, Arch. How are you feeling after that game at the weekend?
Yeah, it was a gutting result. Considering the way we played, I thought the first 20 minutes, usual Spurs, took us a little while to get going. But apart from that, I think the start and the end, as I say, were pretty bad. But the middle part, I thought we controlled the game. We created chances, and we had a lot of shots outside the box. I thought Newcastle looked like they were playing with 10 men at times. I think the Newcastle fans were getting a bit frustrated.
Yeah.
But I thought we put the pressure on, and unfortunately, once again, Jamie, like away at Leicester, we just couldn't find the back of the net. It forced an own goal. It was down to an own goal from Dan Burn to give us a goal where we should be scoring 2 or 3 ourselves, let's be honest. And I think the more sort of disappointing thing for Spurs fans is, you're losing in a big game against Newcastle, a team that you're going to challenge for Europe against this season, and you bring on Timo Werner as your substitute. I think that's just a little bit kind of embarrassing. That's all you've got on the bench to sort of fight against a top side, and I think it is a bit...
He's got injuries, though, hasn't he? I mean, I'm going to stick up for him a little bit.
I think we need...
Solanke injured and Richarlison. You ain't got a front man.
I think Odegaard, look, he's a decent signing, but he's always going to be a prospect signing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we need to be like Chelsea, where we need to spend lots and lots of money. Obviously, Cundy knows exactly what I'm talking about, but have a squad of like 100 players. But I think that we needed at least one more. I would have liked Chiesa. One more experienced winger. I think Odegaard, look, he was rash. I think he was actually one of our most frustrating players yesterday.
Yeah.
He blazed it over the bar. He had so many decent chances, and there was one chance where it reminded me of Timo Werner last season at St James's Park, where the ball was played across, and he just couldn't react. He almost like he stood still, and he just...
It winding me up though as well, Arch. We don't take our chances, I get that. But the defending again. I mean, you know, like Romero's in no man's, and I love him. He's a great player. He's in no man's land for the goal. Like honest, the gaps in the back. You know, you play well and you ain't scored. You don't lose the game.
No,
you know, to lose the game in that fashion when you've dominated and you come away with nothing, it's a real kick in the teeth. And you go, well, you know, we've got to learn from that. I've said it all week building up to it. Take a point. It's a decent point. They pumped us there last season. You know, put in a good performance, walk away with a point. I'm happy with that. To come away with nothing, you go, it's the same old Spurs. Play well, get beat.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I think Romero and Dragusin, I think Dragusin played a bit better, but I think actually overall, I thought they were quite impressive at times, making good tackles, interceptions, Dragusin especially, considering...
I know, mate, but look at the goal we conceded.
Van de Ven wasn't there.
The goal we conceded, it's right through the middle of the pitch, so it's not good enough. You got to get tucked in, you got to be tight and hard to beat. You know, don't see Arsenal, you know, like get conceding goals week in, week out. You got to be tough to beat. Loads to talk about. Spurs fans want to hear from you. Man United fans, come on, have your say. I'll take some Celtic fans as well. Rangers, that was a big game at the weekend, and Celtic absolutely pumped Rangers. They were miles off it. 03717 22 3344.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.